headlines tonight, Arua City Value Addition Facility at the edge of being given out. On West Nile Television. Now let us dive into some of the stories of the evening. The attempt by the Ministry of Local Government to give away Arua City Value Addition Facility constructed under the Market and Agriculture Trade Improvement Program has angered the city leadership of Arua. The leaders are saying that they have not been handed over the guidelines for management of the facility yet. Dennis Oringi has more.
This is the multi-billion shillings value addition plant in Arua City, which is lying idle, even after it had been commissioned by the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, in 2021. Last year, both the Minister and State Minister for Local Government visited the facility, and the Minister for Local Government, Raphael Magezi, while touring the facility, instructed the Commission in charge of markets to come out with the guidelines in regards to the operationalization of the facility, in which up to now the guidelines have not been availed to the city authority.
2022, we're going to 3 years, the thing is lying here. Yet we want to promote Paris development model to encourage the farmers. We need this thing to keep, it has to start working so that farmers will get encouraged that if I produce this, it will come here.
Why can't we hand this over to the city?
But on our side, from a technical point of view, to hand over this facility to the city without any clear, it's like just putting it to the means that the good news is that we actually have shared those guidelines. We picked the intentions and the feelings of the councils of Arua, Soroti, and Busia. They have put their input. It was that we are using to do the procurement. But if guided, no, Soroti is still being, they're just finalizing. Busia and this one it was completed at the same time. We had scheduled completing the procurement by end of August, but if guided and just that operator, the one I think that we received.
However, according to the latest development, the facility is at the verge of being given to the private operator. According to the Arua Central Division Member of Parliament, Jackson Lee Yatima, he has intercepted the process of giving out the facility to a private operator procured centrally, and contract is about to be signed, something that is not well with the Member of Parliament.
On 16th, before the President's address in Kololo, I had an interface with the Minister of Local Government, Honorable Raphael Magezi. I want to thank him so much for being upright person. I thank Minister Raphael Magezi. Minister Raphael Magezi discovered that, one, there was no guideline to operationalize these value addition facilities. Some of the staff who tried to design guidelines to operationalize this did not consult us, the leaders, where these value addition facilities are, the city leadership, to give their views in as far as developing the guideline to operationalize the value addition facility is concerned. Two, the guideline was not presented to the minister, who is in charge of all the issues pertaining Ministry of Local Government, including the markets and value additions in this country. And we were told that this document has been sneaked, is it to Attorney General or to somebody to read? I don't know who is reading before the minister reads it.
According to the document seen by West Nile Television, the value addition facility is to be given to MS Samia Agro Limited. Atima says he has already put injunction to the matter because as the city, they are still waiting for the guidelines which were promised by the Minister Raphael Magezi.
We discovered in this committee's meeting that a contractor has already been handpicked from Kampala. I want to thank God that this hand-picked contractor had not signed the MOU, had not signed the agreement with the ministry. Honestly, how do you float the procurement procedures? How do you just go and pick a contractor to come and run a facility in West Nile, and you impose that contractor without following the procedures of procurement, without using a committee, without using guidelines that are supposed to be used across the country, and you want to sign an agreement? What are the issues in that agreement? I want to thank Honorable Minister Raphael Magezi. He stopped that process, and I am very hopeful that the guidelines will be made in consideration with local content.
The Deputy Speaker of Arua Central Division, Arua City, Victor Lumori Vidal, the operationalization of the facility has been long overdue, and they wonder why the ministry is taking long in handing over the facility to the city leadership for operation.
The council, we were looking forward to see how best that facility can be put into use, because as we talk right now, the facility is a white elephant, and a lot of monies have been put there. Public funds have been put there, and the public and the city council is not seeing the benefits from the value addition machine.
Victor says if the facility is operationalized, more jobs will be created for the young people living in the area where the factory is located.
The number of people that value addition is going to employ is a big number, beginning from casual laborers, the technical people, and even the local revenue will be bringing to the city council. So we're all going to miss that, because just like what the Honorable MP has put, we have people here who have capacity. We have people, circles here that can do this work. We have cooperatives here that can run that facility.
Arua City Value Addition Facility was a component of the Arua Main Market built under the Market and Agriculture Trade Improvement MATIP 2 program. Dennis Oringi, Western Television, Nilecast.
And more in our stories for the evening. Oxfam Uganda, together with partners, closed one of its biggest projects focusing on women, youth, empowerment and gender equality at Le Confidential Hotel in Arua district. A total of 18,000 people, inclusive of 155 persons with disabilities, have benefited from the project funded by the government of Uganda and implemented in the 8 districts of Pakwach, Lamour, Zombo, Gulu, Arua, Nebi, Kotido and Kabong. Let's have more on that story. 18,000 people, inclusive of 150 persons with disabilities, have benefited from the Irish Aid Programme grant project under Oxfam Uganda, focusing on women and youth empowerment and gender-based equality, implemented in Pakwach, Nebi, Zombo, Arua, Gulu, Lamour, Kotido and Kabong. This was revealed during the Oxfam Uganda and partners end of project meeting, celebrating the achievements and challenges faced throughout the 2017 to 2022 project tenure at Le Confidential Hotel in Arua district.
This project really impact us with enough knowledge which we can do in beekeeping. Like me, now they train me, I'm becoming even a trainer in beekeeping. I do train farmers in beekeeping. The project worked with the youth, women, men, and the person with disability. Some people, they've started with small hives. Then later on, some now reach to 20 beehives. That is the women, youth, person with disability, and also men.
The country director of Oxfam Uganda, Odokorat Shanti Francis, noted that the project has economically empowered the women and youth and also addressed the issues of gender equality in the West Nile region.
So today we are for the close-out meeting and reflecting on the achievements, the challenges that we have had since 2017 up to this year, when we are now closing this particular project. It has had a big focus on youth and women empowerment. It has worked with several groups. We're able to see some of the groups that are now exporting coffee and are processing coffee here in West Nile and exporting it to the outside countries. We've seen issues also focusing on women gender equality. So we are so proud that today we are for sort of a graduation, celebrating the success that this project has had. And we're sure that even if this particular project has closed today, the impact that it has had in the community will continue to live on. As the districts have fully taken on, we've been working in partnership with them, and we hope that the different extension workers will continue to support the aspects that this project has already had in the community. Total project was about 2.8 million euros. That was for the whole Karamoja, Acholi, and in West Nile. In West Nile, we spent close to 1 million euro. Working with the partners that I mentioned earlier on over the 5 years period. So this is, in terms of the spend for the project, we went close to 100% spent.
The Pakwach District LC5 Chairman Omito Robertstein, on behalf of the leaders of the West Nile region, has pledged their absolute commitment to ensure that the Women and Youth Empowerment Project moves on to the different districts in the West Nile region.
We are celebrating so far the achievements and the transformation that Oxfam funded projects through various implementing partners have caused in the lives of West Nile communities in the various districts. In Pakwach, you realize Oxfam partnered with the implementing partners like UNET, who have been supporting women council leaders to try to handle the matters of gender-based violence and also ensure that gender inequality gap is bridged. And through Pashego Women Club, they also supported the aspect of economic empowerment at family level and inclusiveness, the element of women and men working together to ensure they empower the generations and then support the voiceless to raise up their matter. And therefore, as the program comes to an end, for us as district local governments, also speaking as one of the top leaders of West Nile district local governments, we are pledging our absolute commitment, committing both the technical and the civil sector to ensure that we move on with this project and also create a ripple effects to ensure that they do not only remain in the few districts or within a few sub-counties, but we cascade and spread it to cover the entire West Nile.
The Irish Aid Grant 6-year project under Oxfam Uganda commenced in 2017 to 2022, estimating cost 2.8 million euros, funded by the government of Ireland. Okumurenga Christine, West Nile Television, Nilecast. And more in our stories for the evening. UNICEF and Airtel Uganda launched digital learning at St. Mary's Assumpta Girls and Secondary School. The school head teacher thanks the partnership and says this will be of great importance to the school. Let's have more on that story.
Airtel and the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, have launched a 5-year partnership in Uganda to help accelerate digital learning through connecting 100 primary and secondary government schools in marginalized communities to learning platforms. The launch in Uganda is part of the Airtel Africa and UNICEF Pan-African partnership that will benefit learners in the countries of Chad, Congo, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Gabon, Kenya, Madagascar, Malawi, Niger, Nigeria, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia. In Uganda, 200,000 in and out-of-school learners are targeted. The out-of-school beneficiaries will benefit from the partnership through community youth centers in districts where UNICEF is implementing interventions for the most marginalized children. The partnership will see the rollout of digital learning by connecting schools to the internet and ensuring free access to learning platforms in Uganda and other Airtel Africa operating countries. Through this collaboration, Airtel and UNICEF are committed to leveraging technology to promote inclusive and equitable learning opportunities in underserved areas, helping to build a brighter and more promising future for young people. Representing the Airtel Uganda Managing Director Manjo Morali at the launch event in Adjumani, the Chief Commercial Officer at Airtel Uganda, Amit Kapoor, says UNICEF has been a principal advocate in the well-being of children and young people through championing initiatives that call for access to quality education, good health, among other elements that support their upbringing. UNICEF was represented by the Technology for Development Manager Patrick Mutumbo, Dennis Oringi, Alan Onzima, West Nile Television, Nilecast.
And more in our stories. Actually, to end the Nilecast for the evening, Ivory Division, Arua City has received back Agudubo Emmanuel, who is formerly the town clerk of Ivory Division, some 2 months ago. The transfers effected by the city clerk, Paul Batanda, sees Iotaru Florence handing over to Agudubo Emmanuel, and some council members expressing their thoughts, saying it is normal, understanding that such kind of transfers can be effected where need be in the administrative units. Let's have more on that story.
Basically, we have received him based on the policies, and that being a function of the Service Commission, it is something which did not surprise us, because we know these transfers are done often by the Service Commission. Where they deem it fit, they normally have to do those transfers. However, him being somebody we've worked with for a while, it did not surprise us, though one or two things would have gotten us, given us goose pimples, where maybe things had gone wrong, and we believe with time we'll have to harmonize these things.
The town clerk acting that has been with us here, we worked with them closely. There was cooperation, teamwork, and we loved working with her. There was a conducive environment that we all provided for ourselves. That made, in my department as finance, revenue collection, mobilization to rise, at least drastically high. And that was one factor, that was one evidence of teamwork and having conducive environment towards the revenue mobilization and collection.
The key, of course, things that we need to now do here as a Ivory Division is to embark on proper waste management. As you may be aware, or as you have seen, the Central Business District is quite busy. There's a lot of challenges of waste management. There are challenges of revenue collection. But however, with the teamwork, with the proper coordination, I believe those are some of the things that I have learned within the shortest period of time, which we can be able to apply here and also improve revenue, get on ground, to engage also community on how they can start managing their waste.
Being a lady, first of all, it was a blessing for me. And you know, these positions in the contemporary world now, for a lady to peruse through and get this kind of opportunity, it is never easy. The 2 months I came in at a point when the validation exercises were completed, which means I received the new staff, and these were already substantively appointed by the City Service Commission, and the number was large. At first, we were like kind of threatened, because looking at the accommodation, the office space of Ivory Division, it was not, we thought it was not going to be possible. But we sat in a meeting, we drew plans, and as we are now beginning to swim and enjoy, time comes for me to hand over. And I'm happy, because substantively I'm supposed to sit up there. I just came in to help, and I'm going back.
Ivory is very special, that given the vastness and the rigid city structure could not accommodate certain positions. You know, development is not done by you and the politicians. Development is a joint effort with the community. So we are going to have 4 additional CDOs specifically for Ivory, because you are very vast, and we need government programs, information about governance, information about revenue. They must reach the community, and the only vessel is increasing the number of CDOs.
City Clerk, I want to report to you that the 2 months with Florence here has been wonderful. For us, we were already now prepared to stay with her for yet another period of time, only to receive this news. So since we are not the appointing authority, so we could not reject or do anything. But I tried to inquire from the city clerk why he took this decision. He gave me an explanation. Actually, in the meantime, positioning staff by their ideal appointment is the best. But I want to thank Florence for the few months dedicated work that she was able to do. Everybody who followed here got committed, particularly the finance department. I can tell you we have mobilized a lot of revenue for the last 2 months. I want to say special appreciation to finance department.
Ivory Division. We got those desks from Waivune, from Pajulu here, and then from Manibe. And we did this with the help of the city. They gave us a lorry, we fueled, and they gave us a driver. We moved this furniture, and we were able to settle our staff. And from there, the staff were dedicated as stipulated there, did the work. After settling, we embarked on local revenue mobilization. January, as we came in, we were able to mobilize 50 million in the month of January. Then in the month of February, we also mobilized 50 million. We were able to send our principal town agents to do collections, revenue collections, and they were willing, with teamwork and dedication and facilitation to the staff. They were able to do the work. And as we are now beginning to swim and enjoy, time comes for me to hand over. And I'm happy because substantively I'm supposed to sit up there. I just came in to help and I'm going back. Yes.
So what are the key messages maybe you leave to the incoming? The incoming, all these issues we had already discussed there. You cannot quarrel with the staff. You disagree as you said in principle. But as a leader, you work in consultation. Because like me, as the division town clerk, I am not the final person. I have staff that are supposed to give me information. We call them head of departments. They specialize in those areas, especially for engineer. I cannot say dictate on engineer because he knows that field of work more than me. Even finance, they are the ones who advise me. So we work in collaboration and in consultation. At the end of the day, you will realize that this element of quarreling and dictating of people.
And with that story, viewer, we've come to the end of the Nilecast on West Nile Television. Thank you for being with us from the beginning of the Nilecast to the end of the Nilecast, only on West Nile Television. Please stay tuned to the rest of the subsequent programs that follow. My name is Okumuringa Christine. Have a good evening.